Cool. Let me know when there's some specific that you want to go over.
Okay. I can just load it up too. Unless you can just go. You can just go. Is Scumby's is doing other scrims, I'm guessing.
Yeah, he has scrims every day, 8 to 10.
Yeah.
I'll make them watch it anyway, so. I don't personally like you looking for a wall right here. I think you should be with the team, to be honest.
Can we make sure that everyone's here first?
Yeah. I mean, all 4 of them are muted. I'm assuming everyone's here.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to double check.
Ira's.
Hello. I'm here.
Hi,
Hello.
I'm here.
Okay, everyone's here. Poggers.
Cool.
And then Owen said he can't make it. So.
I know.
Yeah. But anyway, I'm much rather you just be right here and then you could just like sim or Maywall that reactionarily. Because you're gonna be able to see it versus not. I mean, yeah. You don't know what comp they're running until they're already up there, right? So it's better to be with your team, right? Because they're playing sim. You know. You also get more value just by being with your team versus, they also have a May. They're just gonna walk around, Like if you're looking for a May wall right here, it's a lot better because the easiest out for them is this doorway or up. But like here, it's like they just like can jump up and immediately help their Rhine. So. Oh, so you find yourself in a very bad spot. You should be trying to hide. Well, not hide necessarily. But you should be trying to take the fight over on the right side versus on the left side. Again, try and think about where you can get out. Right. Always have maybe not necessarily an escape plan per se, but put yourself in a position to be able to escape if you needed to escape. Especially since they're playing like a sim brawl, and we're not playing sim, right? You putting yourself in this corner is just you're asking to get Maywalled. Is pretty much what's going on. If you play on this side, your teammate can at least swing for you a lot better, which is what ends up happening anyway. Like they swing to the right, and now like this is just a fucking mess of what's going on right now.
Yeah, know that they can't see your mouse if you're ever doing like signaling shit. Yeah, no one can see your mouse when you stream Overwatch through Discord.
At least the stream can see it.
Okay, I was just letting you know through Discord you can't see it.
That's dumb. Okay, good to know. What if I hold on? No, I don't want to do that. But anyway, yeah, be on the right side.
In your screen.
Yeah, I could do that, I guess. Not that I necessarily want to do that, but I will. Hold on. Let's do this.
Make sure you don't dox your...
I know, that's what I'm trying not to do right now. Cool. Now you have no audio, so good luck. But anyway,
and we still can't see your... Oh, there we go.
Well, yeah, I'm not.
Nice. I mean, the other death that I want to point out there is just Busy dying to Sim. Like, both teams have Lucio in this fight, and Sim has a very specific effective range. So I feel like she should almost never get that kind of kill on a long-range target in any of these fights if we're spacing properly. So you used roll there and you got hit and then just instantly died.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
It was just like an accumulation of unfortunate shit, but you also put yourself in that position. You didn't have roll, didn't have flashbang. You weren't with your team. You weren't far enough away to avoid it, and you didn't dodge the right click. So
yeah, you walked right into a right click, and boom, you're already like 1 HP and dead.
And within the range of the Sim. So yeah, I mean, that's also for Frothy. Like, as a Lucio player, I mean, it's the same shit. Like, if they're running dive, you know that you need to hang around your dive susceptible targets on your team, and you boop and like speed your team away from like Winston's and Divas, because they pretty much have effective ranges. It's the same thing from Symmetra. Keep your team away from those kind of
Yeah, especially since you could just like, instead of trying to take the duel over here, like there's a huge fucking fight going on right here, right? And you are the damage on the team, right? Since they're playing sim, she's the damage. You're the sim, so to speak, to their comp. So you dying is basically, all right, we have no more damage. Foster, we need you to do something. Or we need to use ults now that we have no damage on the team.
Yeah, the other thing to keep in mind is Foster's positioning there enabled that. Like, their sim does not survive there. Foster's holding on the right side where he has those escape options like you mentioned earlier. But the fact that he narrowed himself into a wall means he wasn't creating as much space, and he was kind of forcing the fight to be in a close corridor. And the sim was able to get out because of that.
And then Owen died. How did Owen die? That's an important death. Oh. Yeah. You need to use the downtime in between fights. One, the downtime for you in a fight, which is right now to get on the high ground.
Well, he was at the start of the fight. He was positioned on the high ground,
Yeah, he
like
was right
above
here.
where they were, which actually would have been super clean.
Yeah, you could have stayed up there, or you could have been like right here either. Right? I mean, just choose somewhere. I know, like, you tried to jump over the wall to try and help Foster, which is a good decision, except that there's a high ground right next to you, which you don't have to engage down here. You know, because now you're literally in the middle of the fight. Like, this is the last place you want to find yourself as a defending Baptiste. It's just in the middle of the team. Especially since the DP, their Mei is just sitting here, just M1ing people. Like, that's all that she's doing. She's literally standing still M1ing people. And then, yeah, you may wall Gumby in. I think you might have thought it was their diva. I'm not quite sure why.
Go back there to before Frothy died. So, like, one of the most important things with Lucio is taxiing and shit. And you guys had 3 full ticks to be able to recontest this. I would have liked to see you just completely disengage and then re-engage for another fight. And we've gotten about that before. And I would like to have, like, a specific sit-down session talking about, like, effective IGL communication. But this is, like, you guys have plenty of time to do a recontest here, even though it's going to be hard with the Mei and the Sim, but you have a chance to have a full fight instead of having staggers. So I would like to see the Lucio taxing, you know, keeping yourself alive so you can have faster fights. And even if you don't get the fight on first point, if you keep yourself alive as Lucio, you can force an early fight on that really important choke on second point. It makes it just easier than if you die last year.
Yeah, and also what you could do is, again, I know since you're not like a Lucio player at heart, with the taxing thing, sometimes you have to be reminded that. But definitely in every, this is kind of like the end of a fight, beginning of a fight, kind of weird stagger phase shit. That should be your first priority is, okay, I need to get everyone back to the team, wherever the next team fight's going to be. And since, again, they're playing Mei and a Sim, like, the last thing you want to do is fight in this room, right? And so then Foster, that's kind of on you of knowing, hey, they're playing Mei, why don't we just try and fight, you know, right here, or, I mean, fuck, you could go literally anywhere else except right there. You're gonna die right there.
Well, if you had enough time, you could rotate through the high ground and jump off the high ground
on
the left side.
Yeah, like, if it was a little bit more decisive with your decision-making about, this is kind of, like, really, like I don't want to say high tier necessarily IGL, but it's a larger brain. Just to make a decision based off of something that they're doing. They're also regrouping. You guys are regrouping. You can use this time to try and get somewhere that's going to benefit you at the beginning of the fight versus, hey, okay, let's just regroup right next to the point. We can take an immediate fight, you know, once we're enough players on point. Which is like what ends up happening is that, except they also have ults. And so it's a net negative for us.
Yeah. I think just composure is really, really important, and that just comes down to, like, good communication and shit. Like, for one, can you just pause it real quick? This just seems kind of like a panic. I think we can maybe win this. We kind of have ults, but we already got one person picked. Hey, they're coming out of spawn. Maybe, maybe, maybe. There's no definitive answer in this. And that's
Yeah.
where, like, again, understanding the win condition of our comp. We have a very, like, brawly comp. We have some good range and poke, but for the most part, we want to be staying together, isolating targets with Mei. If they have any flankers, we can take them out with the combination of, like, Diva and McCree and Lucio speed boost so they can't get away. It's a very like clumped up together. So if we know that as the shot caller, we should be calling for like clean rotations. Our Lucios should be with our Reinhardt. We should make sure we're not taking poke damage. We stay clumped together, and then we have like fast engages. And you don't necessarily need to know all like the map locations and everything, but I would rather see like decisiveness from you guys, especially on that first fight. Like they had the sim TP to the high ground, and you see them rotate, make a definitive decision on where you're going to hold, and then we can like micromanage in VOD reviews on if it was optimal or not. But there's like only so many places fights can take place. And from the very first fight, you guys were pretty spread out, which I didn't like to see. And then like the second fight is just, you aren't together. Your Lucio dies first and your Diva bombs after the point is already taken. The other thing to keep in mind is you guys have a clear win condition, and so do they. So that's the other thing you have to keep in mind is like their sim wants you to come out of a certain wall, and they're going to want to wall you off as well. And they have a similar composition, but they want to be within range of your Reinhardt shield. But if you just have like a hard engage on the Symmetra, they either have to completely disengage, in which case you have space, or like you just roll over the sim before she can get set up. So I don't know. As an IGL, it can be very difficult, but I'd rather see like decisiveness and you guys playing together and being wrong, rather than having a lot of these kind of like hesitation plays and this Diva bomb. Now we're down in ult economy, and it just makes our lives harder.
Yeah, especially with the decisiveness. Like, if the goal was to recontest, you all better be walking out. Except there's only Foster. Foster's the only one who tried to walk out. Like, every single one of you have to attempt to walk out with Foster, because if you get walled, Foster is dead. It doesn't matter how good you fucking pop off. They have point. You don't have a Reinhardt. They have free shatter. You know, like you all have to try and make a clean engagement, and it's not just on Foster. Like, this is on every single one of you to play near him. Again, we're playing Brawl. It's like we're playing goats or something. You have to be playing close to each other and make clean, decisive decisions, even if they're wrong. I never said make a right decision. I don't give a shit if you make a right decision. I'm sure neither would A-Dog, because that's why we're here. But you just need to make it decisive, clean, and that's it. You can be wrong. It's fine if Foster says, fuck it, let's jump off the map. All right, well, at least you made a decision, right? Now, obviously, don't fucking do that, right? But it's just more about listening to the call and every single one of you trying your best to do so, right? Like, you could, like, right now, if the whole point was, okay, I want to try Luke Master just die on point, ignore the Diva. Like, Busy could just, maybe, Busy is one of the exceptions to that, where he can try and demech the Diva and then die on point, right? Because, I mean, you could at least try and do some damage to the next fight for the enemy team. But yeah, again, we're just not, I don't remember exactly what's going on, but a lot of it's, okay, let's just reset. I'm pretty sure is the communication here.
But even if it's just reset, have a plan for second point. Hey, we're going to take the fight and choke early. Okay, we've demech Diva. Let's pressure their Rhine hard, because it'll be hard for them to cover their Rhine. Stay with Foster, like that kind of communication. There's like, I don't know, how many of you watch Owl? There was a good match today.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Yeah, I watched him.
Wait, what was the good match?
Toronto. I'm
know.
talking about like a good example of good rotations is like Toronto and Houston. Houston's rotations on Nubani attack with like their Reaper and Moira and shit. They don't all necessarily go together, but they all know where they're going to go, and they initiate at the same time. On both first and second point, they had like those clear, decisive engagements, and that's something that if you guys want to go back and watch, like again on first point they like hugged the wall on point. On second point they rotated through the high ground to deny it, even with a Reaper, and they all went together. They kind of like took different routes, but they all started at the same place. Yeah, that would be a good example of a match to watch in terms of like how to rotate effectively. That's also why I've kind of advocated for us playing Sombra and Dive a little bit more, just because I think it really forces you guys to worry about your timing and engaging correctly.
And
but
teammates.
Yeah.
And where your teammates are, and timing. It's kind of like the ball Sigma meta with Ashe, Zen Mercy, or whatever the fuck it was with Tracer, where it was you're playing like 2-4 dive, where it's only the ball and the Tracer that are diving, but they're diving on a target, and they're killing the target, and they're getting the fuck out. Meanwhile, the 4 other people, the Zen Mercy, the Sig, and the Ashe, are just kind of existing somewhere to just kind of, for a lot of sustain, a lot of very, very high threat damage with the Ashe, the damage boosted Mercy, with the damage boosted Ashe, Discord Orb, Sigma, a lot of CC, except now it's all 6 of you, pretty much. Now, obviously, it's more like the dive characters, right? There's so Sombra, Tracer, and the 2 tanks. But I mean, again, it's obviously important for you, Owen, and Frothy to be in a position to help the other 4 members of your team get to where they need to be in order to dive something.
I just want to make one thing clear is I do like being clumped up, but you can take the space if the tanks give it to you. If you have a flank available, as long as you're able to rotate and stay alive, I'm okay with anybody on the team taking the space that's available or denying flanks. I just want to make that very clear, is you don't have to be like predictable 6 stack clumped up together, because you don't necessarily, that's not going to be the optimal thing. But I just want to preface the whole like being together.
Yeah,
Busy can take off angles, right, in order to get better shots on their team, as long as he's within range of getting back to his main tank, and he's within range of like, hey, I need a flashbang on the Reinhardt. He can just roll in and flashbang on the Reinhardt, right? We're within like a seconds of being able to follow up on anything my team calls out for me.
Yeah, and especially if you're going from point A to point B, right? So spawn door to the hypothetical fight place, wherever that maybe it's right where you guys are. I mean, unless you're setting something very, very specific up, a flank noon, like you're gonna shatter from somewhere, your team's the bait, or it's just something. Except for those plays that you're trying to make that are called, that are very specific, you should be pretty clumped up until the point where, okay, the fight's going to be taking place here in a matter of seconds. All right. Busy in the time between, like 10, maybe like 5 seconds before that point in time. Okay, I'm going to go off on an off angle, or I'm going to try and, then you can start doing individual things, but it's more about getting to point A to point B. Is you're playing not necessarily clumped, but you're playing like a ball, I guess. Because, I mean, clumped is kind of has this, in my mind, a negative connotation about, okay, you guys are just like glue to each other. Like you can, like A-Dog was saying, you can take space if someone's giving it to you. Like if Foster, if you said, oh yeah, let's take a fight on point. Oh fuck, they're not on point. Let's just go straight at them, or wherever the fuck they're at. Like you can make a better decision with more information that you get.
So before we start with the second point fight here, I kind of want to do kind of an exercise. I know Zach's probably going to make fun of me for it, but it's something that
basketball?
What?
Are we playing basketball?
No. It's just more of just like now we know what both teams have. I don't really care. You can kind of do semi-ult tracking when it comes to this, but like we know what happens in this VOD. But going at it with hindsight, I want Foster just to do an IGL communication on what you'd like to see out of the next fight. So we just lost first. We have a little bit of an ult bank, like effective communication. How do we win this next fight?
Yes. We have Shatter, we'll have Beat, we'll have High Noon. Probably just play for High Noon. Try to hold like the corner. High Noon and speed forward and try to hold that corner. And then try to break shields, push in and look for a Shatter.
So I think they have more shield break than you. Especially if they get their sim going, and they also have sim wall. The other thing to think about is, like, we know what ults we have. You don't have to necessarily communicate that. I would like an IGL just to call out what ults we're using in, like, it's a combination to win a fight. So if it's just High Noon, what's something that we would have to talk about? Hey, we can kite them back, right? We would have to kite them back for High Noon, or we use High Noon aggressively. There's options we have.
Yeah, you can speed Noon. You can do a feint attack. Like, you can make them use speed boost to come at you. You just back up. Okay, now this is a much better engagement from this corner to this corner. That's a better High Noon spot from this corner than this corner, because there's a lot more cover that they can disengage immediately from. There's a lot of things that you can do with High Noon that are you know, different other than, okay, guys, just high noon, we're going to speed in. You know, I mean, sure, that can get kills and it breaks shields, you know, and accomplishes a goal. But you can also do more feint stuff. Now, obviously, that's a little bit more nuanced about when you should be doing that, you know, but just an idea.
Yeah, but what I was saying in terms of that communication, I would like more of a clear, definitive, let's be aggressive with high noon here, right?
Okay.
Let's pressure their Reinhardt. Why are you doing it? To break shields? Well, they have 2 shields. One of them is an ult, right? Which you can just run past if you wanted to. And the second one is a character, right? And so if our goal is to kill the Reinhardt, that would be our focus, is to follow up on the Reinhardt. Where do you want to take the fight when the Reinhardt goes? Is it right now? Right? All those things can be communicated faster and more effectively. So we'll try it again on like third point. Just keep in mind, like, that's what I'd like to see from IGL, is like those definitive calls. And it's not saying that your callouts were bad. We can just make them better. So, because again, we have some issues with everybody following up on what the plan is. So let's make the plans better.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's a nice wall.
It's also a good beat.
Yep.
Gumby, you are like not doing anything on Diva for your team right now. You're playing very. This is a problem that I've had, that he has on every team that I've ever coached him on, is that he's a very selfish player. It's not. I mean, he knows that. I'm not bullying him or anything. But when you play Diva, man, you can't be like in Narnia, because what ended up happening was you did a selfish play over here. You got demeched. They didn't kill you. They had a free blizzard. We had to use beat in to save the team from a blizzard. Then you get then you're back in your mech, and then Orion is basically just with you. Now, obviously, this is kind of good for your team, but you shouldn't be here in this scenario at all. Like, you should be with your team. Like, you should be trying to let Foster block the shatter versus, hey, well, if Ryan's not there, I'm going to shatter now, because I'm pretty sure that's what Foster's about to do.
And the other thing we kind of made the assumption for was we want to roll over their team, and we have range. So we either kite back effectively and try to just like stall out the resources until we have that full engagement and try to like roll over their Symmetra and create space. And we need your mech and your resources once we go in, right? She has a beam, but if you can stop Baptiste and you can stop the extra Lucio and the micro missiles and the Reinhardt from having like fire strike damage on the team, you're going to give your team way more effectiveness. Also, if you can chase down kills, right? If our Reinhardt is just pressing W and he's getting swings on kills and you're able to fly on them effectively when you're right behind them, I don't know, it just gives way more value to your team.
Or DMing your Ryan so he can swing.
Yeah, being separated from your team like this is just never an option, because I don't know, you're not taxing anyone. It seems like you're just trying to get away for free, or like stay alive. But you had a Lucio who just beated, and the rest of your team is holding a corner. That's how the easiest way to stay alive here.
You can also just fly up. The only person who can chase you is Diva, and yeah. I have a feeling it's that she's not gonna try and chase you because she was also low, you know.
Yeah.
So, also Foster, if we go back like 5 seconds, this is a communication that is it's just a breakdown in communication. Okay, because what ends up happening is our Diva Matthew gets aggro on Ryan. He should be calling this. I have Ryan on me, right? Now, when you hear that specifically, you have a free shatter, man. You have shatter. Hey, the Ryan's not there. I'm just gonna shatter. Like, it doesn't matter if you solo shatter someone. It doesn't matter, because you know, obviously it's nice to get a 6-man shatter, but if you just solo shatter a Diva right now, you have a free high noon. You have a free window. Like, they can't block it. Well, they have to use Simwall, of course. And then that's a very easy disengagement. Okay, cool. They use Simwall. Let's just fight somewhere else. You know.
I just see this matchup as very much as like a push and pull. And right now you have no Reinhardt in the enemy team. It's your time to like push in. Even though you had to use beat to disengage and you don't have your Diva, this would be your time to like fuck them up, because they do not have a Reinhardt to stop your Ryan. Yeah,
and I know you are watching this, Foster. Like, I know you see this, right? Because, I mean, you're obviously behind shield and you're checking the corner, right? Like, you can see that there are 3 people right here shooting your shield, and you keep, you know, wiggle peeking, and we use window first. And like, I mean, this is still like a good window spot to use, of course. But you could have just shattered and they wouldn't have been able to beat. Or maybe you might have even canceled it. Who knows?
Yeah, the other kind of awkward thing is it looked like if you go back 20 seconds.
20 seconds. 20 seconds it
Yeah,
is.
that's fine. Yeah, you already had Shatter before you used that first Fire Strike.
He had Shatter coming out of this, out of here. He had Shatter when we Diva bombed.
Yeah, I just want to keep in mind, if you know we have a Baptiste on our team, you don't need to be throwing out Fire Strikes randomly, right? This is not like you're baiting out bubbles and throwing Fire Strikes over things, or you don't even have May ult, so you're not even trying to like flicker Diva defense matrix. This was kind of a greedy one that kind of fit support ults on the other team. Just keep going forward. It's
Yeah.
Like, there's no reason, in my opinion, a Fire Strike here. You should just be looking for Shadow Kill. And that allowed that allowed it to be like awkward timing with this window too. Like, just pop it because just play.
Sorry.
Now you're like 4 seconds away from Fire Strike and you're clearly looking for it, so you just don't follow up.
Yeah. I wanted to say something about the fight that just happened.
Backline's a little bit scared to push in past the sim wall.
Oh, I remember.
Ryan is fucking...
If you have Shattered, never Fire Strike unless you're trying to get a kill on something that's like low. Like Lucio is inting on top. Yeah, you can Fire Strike then. Because a Reinhardt who sees you Fire Strikes, if you hit E, you start the animation, and he hits Q, you do not have time ever to block that Shatter. You are giving them a free Shatter. Now, of course, that's probably not something you're going to see in Diamond. Maybe Masters. Who knows? Maybe. You never know. But it's not a habit that you want to have when you want to start trying to improve in the game. It's just Fire Striking because, hey, it's on cooldown. I have Shatter. Who cares? Maybe I'll get a kill. Like, it's not about the maybe I'll get a kill. It's more like, hey, I need to not Fire Strike because the GM Ryan is going to see me hit Fire Strike and he's just going to hit Q and we get team wiped because I decided to hit E instead of, using shield or trying to bait something else out of them, right? So just keep that in mind.
Yeah. I think the other thing is there's obviously some sort of miscommunication here because it would be very easy for you guys to just stay back behind the sim shield, but your Ryan is looking for Shatter and being super aggro, and you have a Lucio who's following up. But again, we talk about combos and following up. They have no Mei. I would like to see Busy trying to go for a flashbang on the Reinhardt. I would like to see your team pushing past the sim shield because, again, we talked about Sim has an effective range, and we have half of our team playing in her effective range and half of our team not. So we're just completely losing half the value of our team. Like, if we're committed to this shit, I'd rather see our team full committed than this half stuff that's going on right now.
Yeah, so like...
Especially since we have a pick and we've already committed 2 ults into this fight.
Yeah, this is a fight that we're going to try and have to win. Also, like, if you think about shapes, we were a long-ass rectangle, and they're more squarish. If we're playing Brawl, we should not be long rectangles. Like, if you're imagining from Busy to Tachyon, like, that's a straight line. We don't want long lines, unless it's Busy going off on a flank or something, because he sees an opportunity to. Like, most of the time, it's better to be more squarish than it is to be more rectangle-ish. In my opinion, anyway. But also, like, with this fight particularly, since they use... Like, I know why you three are back there. It's because of this window. And I know why you three are there is because you were already in a position because you want to go for Shadow. You're trying to, you're trying to do something. And again, this is a breakdown in communication about not knowing what we're doing. And also, if Foster's saying, hey, I'm going to look for Shatter, the three of you either need to say, hey, wait, back up, there's a window, or, okay, I guess we're going in, and you're just going to listen to the call.
I think for right now, it's almost better for us to just double down in bad calls. And it's not some of them are going to be great calls because sometimes players see things that other players don't. I think just for where the team is right now, I'd double down in any call. I wouldn't try to talk over people's toes. I think the only person who can really do that is Frothy. That's the only person. Is Frothy's playing Lucio, that's the only person I would have be able to talk over any sort of call out for engagements or disengagements, because he kind of is controlling the tempo. So that's the only person. Yeah. But other than that, if we have any, I'm gonna hard int. I want everybody to follow up with it.
So we hit a massive Shatter, and again, we are now a much bigger triangle looking ass thing, right? this is a huge fucking shatter, and the only 3 people who are in a relatively good position to capitalize that are these 3. And Foster's the only one who does a lot of damage. And obviously, you should stop trying to freeze people. Just so you should just right-click him in the head. You'll kill them a lot faster. But Busy, this is... You're just scared of a window. Like, again, if we're looking for shatter, you have to, like, roll in to try and ignore the window. Or you have to try and follow up on your Rhine making space and looking for a shatter. And then obviously, Gumby, that involves on you too. You flew up over there. You could have just flown forward and, DM your Rhine or DM the Baptiste who's healing the team. Or, just more forward, Now, Owen's in a fine spot, I guess, considering that he's playing Baptiste and he's moving forward too, so... But we had a 5-man shatter and only got 2 kills. Well, we got 1 kill because of shatter, and then the other one is because of a May wall.
Which is, again, just a timing issue. Which we can probably just keep track of the mistakes in the future. That's just going to be a me and Zap thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Again, also, Foster, I went over this before, I think, on Wednesday. When you see your tank up there, either they're SOL or, hey, man, I'm going to try and come help you. So, also going to be... Why, I don't... whatever. I stopped shooting the fucking turret, dude. I was watching that. I didn't understand it at all.
Is it? We can just do this shit again. If Foster's still there, it seems like everyone's dipping out of this VOD review. You still there, Foster?
I'm still here. My parents are yelling a little bit.
Just muted.
So,
Yeah.
Cool.
yeah, I've been muted.
I just
You
had
can stay
ladder
unmuted if you
aggro.
guys. Oh.
Actually, let's go back to, like, here. So this is the call that we're trying to make. This is the position of where we should be trying to make the call versus the engagement's already happening. But yeah, go on, A-Dog.
Yeah, as soon as we've won the fight, again, I'm just going to reinforce. Fight has been won. We're immediately having ult tracker track enemy team ults. It's going to take 5 seconds, right? They have this. They used this, they used this, they used this. They're this much on this. It's going to take 5 to 10 seconds to do that. And then immediately I want Foster to take over on what the plan is, right? We have high ground now. There's a lot of ways that we can, like, okay, we'll do the exercise again. I ignore the...
Give me 1 second.
The old tracking. How do we win this next fight and where do we win it?
Sorry, I'm plugging in my
I
tablet.
don't know if you
I'm
can
gonna draw.
respond right now.
Wait, sorry. Did I miss something?
Oh yeah, I was just saying we're gonna do the same thing. So we won the fight. We have great positioning. Ignore the ult tracking from the enemy team right now. Just give me an IGL call for this next fight.
Okay. We're playing upright. Yeah, just back up. Try to hold the corner by the payload, and then the corner to the back, like farther on our side.
So right here, or this one.
I cannot see what you're.
Did this fucking Discord fuck up again? Where the fuck is Discord? It's working, isn't it?
I don't see anything.
Oh, fucking.
It is.
Oh, my bad.
Oh, okay. I see.
200
It's because I plugged in my tablet and it fucked up. There you go.
Yeah, so that corner and then the one by the payload. We can
Gotcha.
play from a range with high noon, like kite the hold the up corner, the forward corner, and then back up. Busy can look for a high noon, and then maybe we can like go aggressive with Blizzard if we don't kill like 12 people with high noon.
I'm gonna be honest. That's too long. It's too long. I want it shorter. I want it like more effective. This is just like an example of what I would do. So we ult tracked, and I would just be like, okay, we're gonna hold hard choke here. We have May Blizzard. Let's try to pressure their tanks, and then we're gonna go hard on them with Blizzard. Like that's it. We're gonna hold choke, pressure the tanks. We're gonna win with Blizzard. If anyone has any questions, or if you notice anything weird is happening, like they're disengaging and they're kiting back, then we make the plan from there. But for me, like high noon is not necessarily like we're gonna win the fight with it unless there's like very few times where you have like setup plays with High Noon. Most of the time it's like reactionary, keeping space, or like pressuring takes in a specific position. Right here, like all you need to do is catch the diva out of line, out of her mech, get her when her DM is down, and you guys can hard engage on a Blizzard and just win the fight, especially since they have Symmetra, right? They don't have any sort of like weird shit that you have to deal with besides DM. And then we've already ult tracked in terms of they have Diva Bomb and they have Shatter. So the people who need to worry about that will worry about that, right? So, you are one of them. But as an IGL, just straight up, hey, we're going to hold choke, pressure their tanks, and let's look for an aggressive Blizzard. That tells everybody what they need to know in the fight. It knows that we're going to be shooting shields hard. It means we're going to be holding this corner with as much ability as we can. We're not going to be cutting back. And if they try to put the aggression on us, then we throw Blizzard to try to win the fight, right? We've done everything we can to bait out Defense Matrix. We've pressured the Diva with Freeze, with Stun. Even if High Noon is possible, right? If they are like hard engaging with Beat, we keep them at bay. But our win condition is playing around Blizzard and fucking up their tanks.
Okay.
Especially
so,
since we know they
is-
don't have support ults.
Okay. So don't rely on like High Noon as a ult to play around.
Well, what I was going to say was that there are
Yes,
some ults in the game where you do not need to manage them at all. So, for example, Pulse Bomb, unless you are specific, hey, save Pulse 4, or hey, I need you to look for a Pulse on Zen so we can get graph, or something very, very specific with Pulse, you never worry about that person's Pulse Bomb. High Noon is one of those examples where, unless you were doing it, Busy would be calling this, hey, can we speed in High Noon? Because that's not something that an IGL is saying, oh yeah, that's definitely going to be in my playbook. It's something that I'm going to start doing every time, because that's not really, it's not reliable. It's not, it's an easily kiteable ability, and you just bought time, I guess. It's a time builder, or a time whatever the fuck. But like with Blizzard, you're doing something very specific. We are all engaging on this specific thing. We should be able to know where we are in position of doing that, because if we say, hey, let's speed High Noon, where is Tachyon playing? Where is Gumby going to do? Like, we don't know where we're playing because of those things. But like, if you say, hey, let's look for an early Blizzard or something, or let's pressure tanks with Blizzard, everyone should be in a close position, because you said pressure, right? You're trying to get an early fight out, and you're trying to use Blizzard, so everyone should be near Ira, It's a little bit more, well, I mean, you're assuming things, of course, but it's still important.
Yeah, the other thing to consider is like you can still call for High Noon stuff, but I want it as like combo plays. I want it as like I picture a good IGL being really adaptive and being able to make crazy plays. So let's say you have Shatter, they have Shatter, and we have High Noon. That would be an IGL play. It'd be just like, hey, can you High Noon early so we can break shields so I can Shatter? That would be a way of comboing High Noon and micromanaging it in order to win a fight, but the win condition is still Shatter, right? High Noon is not necessarily winning the fight. It's a combo that you're using with your teammates in order to win the shield war, in order to win the fight.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree with Zaf in terms of like, there's a lot of ultimates in this game that you don't really need to micromanage. I mean, even for Lucio, like, there's a lot of instances where it seems like he needs to use it for like Flux, or he needs to use it for Grav, but for the most part, I kind of leave it up to the player, and it's a lot easier to look back about if they need it or if they don't need it.
I would say most support ults are actually like that.
Yeah.
In fact, like with Window, Nano, like unless you're doing something very specific, you're comboing Nano Blade, Window Fire Strike, whatever. Then it's usually, hey, I thought we could win the fight with my ult. It's not something was called. It's not necessarily something that's maybe not needed or whatever, like A-Dog was saying, but it's really the player dependent, making those in-game decisions to do things on their own,
Yeah, a really good example is the idea of like, let's say we're 70-70 on like a control center kind of point, and we have Beat and they have Flux, and they get 2 picks, or they kill our Reinhardt before the fight even starts, and then they go for Flux. Instead of beating, you save Beat for next fight because you knew that they had committed a bunch of ults and resources to recapture the point. But if you guys were able to re-engage easier, then you guys will win the last fight in overtime, like the more important fight for overtime. Like, that would be an example of, it's maybe not always as straightforward, but as long as you can trust your teammates to make the right decisions, that's where it's like, you're not asking your Lucio, hey, they have Bleed or they have Flux, hold Beat for it. The Lucio should know that. At this point in the game, we kind of know what counters what. We know that you should be saving shields for Shatter. as a Reinhardt player, you should be communicating if your shield's going down, and your teammates know that they should try to play around corners if you're losing the shield war and they have shatter. Like, there's a lot of things that should be known already, and you don't have to micromanage. But when it comes to like planning, that's where, again, I'd want something like pressure the choke, pressure their tanks. Hey, let's just kite resources back. Hey, let's try to kill their Baptiste. Let's try to force out Lamp early. Those are the callouts that are like definitive. These are plans in order to win the fight, to enable our team to win the fight. And I can trust them to follow up on that call. And I don't have to tell them like how to play their character unless I'm looking for a combo.
Okay.
Sorry, that was a pretty long tangent, but I think it's really important because we'll talk about this in the future because like
I'm sure we're
IGLing
gonna talk about it in the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, IGLing is just so important to this game, and having a good IGL makes a world difference. And it's something that I IGL'd in the past, and it feels so good if you have a team and you're able to communicate effectively and your team follows up on it. And right now, you guys are kind of like in the in-between where I see some of those combos plays. You pull it off sometimes, but it's just not quite there yet because I think the communication can be better. And then obviously there's a lot of individual stuff that can be worked on too.
Okay, so don't rely, like, if you have a reactive ultimate like Shatter, like Beat, or like something like Pulse or High Noon, don't plan around it unless you're comboing it with something else.
Yeah, I would separate it in your brain. There are two types of callouts. We have IGL callouts that we need every single fight. These are general game plan and how we're going to win the fight. And then we have combos. Combos are very easy to practice. They're very easy to communicate. It's pulse bomb. It's
Grab Dragon.
Grab Dragon. It's Nano Blade. It's High Noon Shatter. It's Diva Bomb, Turnaround Shatter, that kind of shit. Flashbang Shatter. Those are like very deliberate combos. Those aren't IGL calls. IGL calls are how we engage the fight as a team, how we've decided how we're going to approach
How the fight's
this
going to
next
go,
fight.
so to speak. Like,
Yeah.
what are we doing? You know, so like, okay, yeah, an IGL, like Adog was saying, yeah, let's pressure the tank so maybe we can get Shatter off or something. Like the Shatter,
So-
that is the call, right? That's the thing that you're doing is you're pressuring the shield, and then this is what you're doing because of it, you know. Versus let's just grab Dragon. But I mean, you can make it an IGL call with, hey, let's focus, let's DMAC Diva so I can get a free grab off, and then we can Dragon. You know, you can make it an IGL call.
But for abilities like Tracer Pulse Bomb, like the ones that, like McCree, Deadeye, I would say for the most part, you can ignore telling your teammates exactly how to do it, because if you give a call out like pressure tanks, they'll know that, you know, in the future as we establish like this IGL calling, they'll know that, okay, what we're going to do is we're going to pressure supports because then we want to force out support ults early. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pulse bomb the supports, right, to force out the early aggression, right? You don't have to tell them, hey, look for a pulse bomb. You know, after you get the IGL calls, you know, maybe Busy or Ira calls out, hey, I'm going to look for a pulse bomb on the support after you give the IGL calls. Yeah.
Or like, yeah, I'm gonna try and pulse Baptiste so we get drone out. Got it.
Yeah, just for the scrim tomorrow. I'm assuming we're just scrimming tomorrow.
Yeah.
Bearing weird stuff. The biggest thing I want to see is like a clear distinction in fight is won, fight is lost. We have 5 to 10 seconds of ult tracking. Then we immediately get into an IGL call, and then that's when, once the IGL call is done, everybody shuts the fuck up for both of those things. So Frothy says something, Foster says something, and then that's when we talk about combos and talk about like threats and denying threats and shit like that. So hey, their McCree is flanking. Hey, let's look for a flashbang Shatter now, because that was our whole thing was like, hey, let's fuck up the tanks. Okay, I'm gonna look for a flashbang Shatter then. Right? We established the IGL, and then we had Busy call out a combo that he wants to do with it. That's the kind of like flow that I want in our next scrim.
Oh, I have a great diagram for you then. Busy has seen me do the before fight, during fight, after fight phases of the Overwatch, and like what you do in each of those phases. I mean, I should do that sometime, maybe like next week, or I mean, we can do it right now if you want, but
the whole thing is what I can see just from these first fights is even if you guys have won the fight on the choke, I can see that there's some issues with following up with each other, whether that's individual plays like Gumby's being off on his own, or some people playing scared in the back and not following up with their tanks, or tanks not communicating effectively when they're going in, or them not feeling like they're getting the follow-up they need because the diva's off on their own. There's just a little bit of hesitations, and I really feel like applying that structure to you guys, you will get either rolled or you will roll. And in both of those cases, it's much easier for us to do VOD reviews on like, this is what the plan was, this is why it failed. Whereas like here, we kind of held the corner, we kind of kited back, and then we had an ult advantage.
Solo push to try and finish off a bat by himself.
Yeah.
There's a lot of disconnect.
It makes it harder to do team VOD reviews when it's just a lot of individual decisions, is basically what I'm trying to say.
All right. Ready for next fight?
That being said, big slam. I'm glad that you did acknowledge the fact that like they were playing scared and you had Shatter available to you. Like you basically, the big slam won you guys that fight single-handedly. So you do have the capability to recognize those win conditions. It's just about clear communication and having your team actually follow up with you.
Yeah, and one of the hardest things that's going to be for you, Foster, and Gumby, and for other players, I mean specifically main tank, is pretty much calling every single fucking thing that you're doing. Or, hey, I'm pushing it for Shadow, or just calling just pretty much everything, because it's important.
Is that what you want me to do?
Well, I mean, I'm not saying. Well, I mean, I would love you to do that. I mean, it's great. Like, hey, I'm pushing up. Yeah, I'm backing up. I have low shield. Yeah, you know, hey, can we break range shield? I need to shatter. I mean, you can call every single thing that you're doing because it's more tempo. Like you're calling the pace of the fight. You're like, okay, let's go. They have no shield, or you see something, because you're gonna see everything. Versus Beiji's probably gonna be focusing on one thing. He's breaking Ryan shield. Maybe he's not paying attention to the diva who's flanking off on his own, but you are. Right, you can say, hey, Diva's off on his own, let's push in, or insert any other character here, right? Like you're paying attention to pretty much everything in front of you. So again, when you're playing Reinhardt comps, it's different when you play Dive and Ball and Monkey and all of this random ass shit. You can be calling every single thing that you do because it lets your teammates know what you're doing, what you're looking at, and what you're looking for, I guess.
Yeah, a good example is actually the Open Division run of Emong. I know he talks crazy amount, but he's actually a good example of, you know, or a decent example of what an IGL should be. Did anyone here watch the VOD review of like Emong and Flats and ML7 and Open Division?
I watched a little bit.
I didn't know they did that.
Yeah, really pay attention to like
Division.
Yeah, they did. Pay attention to like how much Emong communicates on like
that dude
what
never
he's
shuts
looking.
up.
Yeah, but that's okay because he'd much rather have your team on the same page than not. And you can just see, like, I mean, he also goes above and beyond and like tries to keep the team in a positive PMA and all that shit. But if you're interested, I would recommend the actual Open Division and listening to Emong's IGL calls, because that man, he talks a lot.
And he's also very good at the game, or at least was. Like the IGLing doesn't leave you. You don't get bad at IGLing all of a sudden. Maybe your mechanics fade over time, but he's been IGLing before the Overwatch League. Like he's been doing this for a long time.
That was back when he
that was in
Selfless, right?
Yeah.
That was like 2017.
That was the reason they kept him on the team, was because of his IGLing and his ability to keep everybody like on the same mental page and
I could point to Runner on Runaway. The only reason why Runaway was, well, I shouldn't say the only reason, a large reason why they were good, and the only reason why Runner was ever even on the team was because he was good at IGLing. He was good at making decisions fast and the correct one. Like the Eye of the Kaiser play, that was a him. He was calling that. It wasn't Kaiser. Of course, he hit the fucking fat shatter against like LW Blue or something, but he specifically was calling that. Hey, we can shatter here. That was him making that play and him making a difference, even though mechanically wasn't good. Wasn't a good player. He probably didn't deserve to be on that good of a team. But again, his brain was the reason why he was on that team. Again, you could look back at his beats. His beats were pretty bad. A lot of them were pretty bad. But again, that's you can find value out of just purely using your voice, and you can get to contenders purely using your voice. So, well, maybe not purely, but
keep in mind, I know this is a lot of pressure and a lot of information. Just know that this is something that if you're interested on the lot higher level, there becomes more and more stress about this. So we're just trying to introduce it to you now. And give you that structure. And if we notice that you're communicating a lot more efficiently and people aren't following up with you, that's going to be a different issue. But right now, it's a mix of both. So
Yeah,
we're going to focus on the
talking about
communication. Yeah, if we're focusing on the communication, that will be, if we get what we're talking about, you will be set until you hit a contender's level, right? And it's honestly not that far off of what you're doing now. It's just like shortening it down and making it so like, you trust your teammate to follow up on what your calls are. Because most of the time people understand what pressure the tanks mean, and we're going to hold choke. Hey, let's hold the high ground. Hey, I'm going to look for early picks. Let's look for picks. Let's kite back. Everybody kind of knows and assume what those call outs are.
Or calling resets, calling disengagements, calling, regroup positions or this and that. Like, a lot of like I was on a top OD team, right? And A-Dog was the coach of that team. Like, I cannot stress enough to the people who are trying to get better at this game to try and maybe hit GM or be on a really good team. I know, like, all of you are pretty much. But the higher up you go, you get scrutinized for pretty much not calling anything. If you're like a main tank player and you don't say a word, I'm not saying that this is you, Foster, or anything, but you are not going to get picked up on any team, ever. It doesn't matter how good your shatters are. It doesn't matter how good of a player you are. But if you don't communicate to your team, they don't care, right? It's the same thing on for the IGL shot caller, ult tracker kind of position, like Lucio, for example. A lot of Lucio players have had to learn to do that because that is what their role is supposed to do. Or the off-tank player is supposed to be target calling. Like, there are, of course, some teams that the DPS player is doing everything. That's rare, right? But most of the time, there are 3 silent roles, so to speak. It's flex support that both DPS players, and then everyone else is just talking as much, maybe not as much as possible, but they're doing the bulk of the communication. And I know that's something that Gumby is specifically lacking with his communication. I know that's something that obviously we are doing this to work on communication, right? And tank synergy for you, Foster, because I know we don't have we're not synergized yet. Put it simple, right? With Gumby being super aggressive, wanting to go to spawn door every time, and you're like, I'm all right, like that's not you're not a let's go to spawn door every fight kind of player. And I think there's nothing wrong with that, But yeah, we're just so.
I see Foster more as like an opportunist. He is like a traditional
Smart
IGL
player.
kind of Reinhardt. Yeah, he's like, hey, I disengage when I need to. I'm going to engage when I clearly see we have an advantage. Their Mei is down. We can push past the shield. We don't need to worry about that.
Yeah, you're the smart player versus the person who's trying to int every fucking fight because that's just what works. Like Gumby wants to int every single if you are not holding W, he will. And he's either going to get demec'd or he's going to get kills. Those are the only 2 options with him,
Yeah, well, the other thing I'm going to say is I'd actually advocate for everyone besides Frothy, just because Frothy, or is it Frothy or Owen who is doing the ult tracking right now?
I think I was. It was kind of a mix.
So I'd still like you to do it, Frothy. Just really practice tracking ults and seeing how accurate you are, and getting really efficient about like going down the line and not being like, they have this and they don't have this. Be like, Ryan has Shatter, Diva has Bomb, Lucio used ult, he doesn't have it, Symmetra doesn't have Wall, they used it. BAP's going to be like 50%.
We could
they don't have Mei.
We could do that exercise right now. I could hide UI and go on Frothy and we could see.
No, we can wait till later because we can just go over this VOD. But what I was going to say is for everyone else on the team, in quick play, on your Smurf accounts, whatever, I would practice what we're talking about with Foster. I would genuinely try it. Even though you're going to be a silent role, the fact that you guys you should be looking for his call outs, right? So I want you guys to have that practice and like understanding what IGLs are looking for and how to get that fast and effective communication. So once we have an established Foster as a good, like a really solid IGL, you guys can have better discussions on if this was the right call out or if it wasn't. Because in game, even though right now we're focused on like doubling down on his IGL callouts, in the future we'll have some sort of discussion on like, hey, I think we should hold here, and be like, no, we should kite back. I have noon. There'll be a little bit more of a discussion when it comes to that. So I'd actually advocate for you guys, everybody, to do some of these IGL callouts that we're advocating for Foster to do on any of your roles that you're playing on Smurf accounts. If you're comfortable doing it on your main, that's fine. It's just hard. What were you saying, Zaf?
I always laugh. We've gotten 2 minutes and 30 seconds in, and we've talked for 50 fucking minutes.
Yeah, but
I'm gonna have to head out. My parents are angry.
That's fine.
It's okay,
Okay,
Foster.
I will watch back VOD. I wrote down a lot of the stuff, and I'll like start working on it this week.
Cool.
Yeah,
Thank you.
I'll post the YouTube link after I'm done.
Okay, awesome.
All right, bye, Foster.
Yeah,
Right.
but I don't think the fights are as important. Of like, it's very clear what the issues are on this team right now. So we don't need to go over 1 million fights. We need to go over 2 or 3 and really figure out what we're trying to do. Anyways,
No, I know, it's
continue
just
the VOD
funny.
at this point.
Because I'll go through like 2 entire maps. But I mean, again, you're macro, and I focus a lot on micro play because that's just what I do.
Yeah. So busy.
That was a really good flashbang, by the way. That was actually very good from us, just in general, and how we reacted to that. You immediately flashed, or he couldn't shatter immediately. We turned around, we killed him, and then we moved on.
Busy got close to just being completely fucked there. It's a good thing we all turned around. Because you committed roll, too. I saw that. And you were in within Reinhardt hammer distance.
It would have been a good time.
Terrible rotation by their team, but it was good for you guys capitalized on it.
And so the call right now is Gumby saying, "Let's hold here." That's what he's saying. I remember this.
And then immediately getting frozen.
Yes. I never said he was a diva player. I don't remember if that's called. It doesn't matter, I guess.
I don't. I think he literally just said, like, as he was throwing it, "I'm bombing this."
Yeah. Well, again, he's not an off-tank player. He doesn't really play diva. I mean, he plays like Sig and Zarya, I guess, and Roadhog. Cool. So like, I don't really like seeing offensive bombs be. Well, you're using this bomb offensively on defense, so there are better times and places to use it. I mean, we got drone out. Cool, I guess. You know.
They're just gonna wait the 20 seconds before they engage because the fight's like.
Or like, we're also like playing super split now. You know, like we tried following up on the bomb. Well, we as in Foster. And then you, I are on the other side. You're focusing on diva, and that, I mean, we're just like split now because of. Well, we used window and bomb, so I guess we're stuck here now. You know.
Yeah, I just wanted to point out something too. The single most important resource besides people staying alive is ultimates in this game. You guys have committed 2 ultimates to this fight, and they've taken 4 steps out of spawn, and it's been 14 seconds since the last team fight. So the value that you're getting out of this aggression, I don't know if it's necessarily worth it, because they come out of spawn, and now you guys are even in your ults, or you're losing even. And they may, if they're able to win the next fight, you guys have lost the resource management because of this aggression and this aggressive call out, and you having to commit a whole bunch of resources to it. It's just something to keep in. Is like, I don't know. We used 2 ults to spawn camp.
Well, so I think what I would have liked to have seen instead is, if we're gonna commit to diva bomb, let's only use diva bomb, and let's try and build our other ults. Like, let's try and build Ira's Blizzard. And then, okay, now we can use window for this next. Let's fuck it. Let's keep spawn camping them. But now we can use window. And then, all right, now we can use shatter. Let's maybe Owen can get another window up, right? And then we can use beat defensively to either try and maintain space, re-engage, whatever the fuck you want to use it for. I don't really care. But when you start committing more than one ult in a spawn camping kind of position, and they are 2 steps out of spawn, and you do something to them immediately, they're just gonna build ults faster than we are. Then we can build them because. Like, look how split they are. There's one over there. There's an entire diva mech over there. There's like 2 people over there. This person died, and then Ryan died. You know, like they're split. So now our ults are getting spread thin, I guess you could say. Your father, you're taking a 1v1. You already have beat. Our window just dropped, so we're gonna be building window. I mean, cool. You're gonna get what 5 ult charge from Baby Diva or whatever. So.
Oh, the main reason I went, like, I split off a little bit to the right side to try and get diva is because the second that we threw in 2 ults, I was like, well, shit, we're gonna be down 2 ults. I need to find some way to, like, buy us more time.
Oh, I'm not saying it's the wrong decision. I was just saying, like, because we decided to do an early bomb, that where they were specifically, I mean, I could draw on the screen right now, but I'm not going to. They split up in an X pattern. Like, one went down there, one went over there. Their Ryan stayed in the middle. Their Baptiste put drone, and then he flew that way. Their May went that way. So we're not, like, yeah, that makes sense for why you would split up. But if we use Diva Bomb, like, when they were already all together engaging versus they were kind of just, like, regrouping, then we could take a better engagement and capitalize on the chaos more than, all right, let's just go around in a circle finishing kills, you know?
This kind of goes back to the thing I said earlier. We created space. We used a shit ton of ults. Maybe it wasn't the best decision in this situation. We created space. You can go off. You can charge ult if you think that's necessary. Be within distance of your group, of the team,
and you were
of safety. Yeah. So it's okay. I'm okay with that kind of play. It's the same thing with Busy. Busy, you can take off angles. Tagyon, you can take off angles. Owen can take off angles. If you guys think you can get picks, if you guys think you need some ult charge, that's okay as long as it's within you guys getting back to your team and you don't like kill yourself over taking those flanks. Yeah. The other thing I want to say is you don't have to worry about. I mean, Blizzard's very, very good, but when we said before about like IGLing, we have Shatter, we have High Noon. We will have a plan on how to win this fight. You don't have to worry about having that crazy impact. We'll kind of have a plan of like, we're going to hold this choke. We're going to hold the aggression. We're going to look for Shatter. You know, guys, you can be very creative with the amount of stuff you can do. You can wall the Reinhardt off and then drop the wall and Shatter because for some reason that works every single time. I've never seen it not work. Like there's so many possibilities and ways that you can win the fight without having to just press Q. So I wouldn't stress too much about your individual impact. Get the IGL call and then be a creative, adaptive player on how to enable your teammates. After the IGL call, then go for the combo calls.
And like there are some characters in the game where like, yeah, your Q is very important. Owen, he should be trying to get window every fight, right? Moira ult. But like with Blizzard, you have a lot of utility in your kit, right? With Maywall, where you can win fights with one ability. Blizzard's great. It's a really good mid-fight tool. It's really good post. I mean, it's good in all scenarios, right? When you're, trying to maintain space or trying to take a fight or whatever. But that's, like, not why we play Mei. Or that's not why we play Mei in Brawl, right? It's because her fucking wall was really good at taking space, finishing kills, getting kills, doing everything. It's a very versatile tool. Right? Now, obviously, it's good to get your ult, like I said. But, again, there are some characters in the game where Sombra, for example, her ult's very good, very powerful, but her neutral game is so much better than her ult, right? It's the same thing with Mei. Like Genji, for example, I mean, you can play him as Blade Bot if you want, but you can also play him as the assassin, I'm going to be in your backline and I'm going to get out kind of playstyle, right? Different kind of playstyles for different kind of characters. Anything else, dog?
I mean, Mei's M1 is pretty good too.
Yeah. I fucking back when I played Overwatch, back in my day. I mean, I was really against playing people just for their ult. Like I hated playing certain characters because their ult's good. Like I care more about the neutral fight than I do about the ult game. I mean, I guess that's kind of why I think I didn't like Brig. I think her ult was very busted. I don't remember. Doesn't matter.
You played in Grab Dragon meta.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, we played Ana Zen, so.
Yeah.
Well, we played Ana Zen Brig. I hated that meta. Anyway. That's also a really good Mei wall, by the way, Ira. And a good
yeah. Well, it was a good kite back in general. I just don't think you had the follow-up damage after you guys disengaged to be able to win that fight.
Yeah, I think that was kind of a not having a direction, I guess, knowing where the team fight's going to be taking place and adjusting that or trying to get people in better positions. So
it would have been really nice to have Diva Bomb on that engagement.
Cough, cough.
You know.
I mean, all things considered, y'all handled that very well. It was just they had more damage. We didn't have Diva Bomb. You know? I mean, they popped 3 ults. You know? We popped 2. And, well, we popped 3. Oh, Busy already has a high noon again. So, you know. Also, I saw this play and it made me sad.
Listen, sometimes
Shit just happens sometimes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you like this is a mental game kind of thing. It's like that was unlucky. All right, next fight. You know,
Yeah.
like
Also,
this fight's not winnable anymore.
I mean, if you want to be that guy, you probably could have heard the Reinhardt pinning and you could have 180 counterpinned. But
Oh, there's
I'm not going to be
100%
that guy.
counterplay here.
Yeah.
Like this
But
is
then
this
also-
is awareness and then not reacting to things, or it
Yeah.
can be like it's unlucky.
You guys also had a little bit more time before you needed the full engagement. So they had sim turrets and we didn't even check high ground. So,
Well, Ira destroyed them.
yeah. But we didn't even notice a Reinhardt fucking vibing on the high ground.
Yeah. Especially when you're playing into a sim, you should not necessarily expect, but you should anticipate dumb shit. That's pretty
Or
much it. Because
weird.
the sim is going to teleport the Rhino around like it's like a fucking hot potato. You know? So. Sorry. Don't be feeding again.
Yeah, gummies, don't feel like you need to get a kill in that situation. They have window. Like, literally just play on the payload, stall out as much as you can. Time is a resource. You are the person who can stall on the payload, like, the longest. And keep your team up the longest to stall out. There are very few situations. I can still see, like, hey, I'm going to int to kill their main healer. But not when their whole team is next to the main healer and he has window up.
Also, Gumby, jump off the fucking map, dude.
No, he wins these.
Yeah, 1v6. Almost died to a fucking turret. I swear to God, if you grab the mini. Whatever. Because it took that long for us to,
We don't get 2 fights, we get 1.
Yeah, like, this whole thing takes, like, fucking 6 seconds to do, by the way. And it's already over here. And our baby diva just died. Right? So, in this scenario, Foster, Frothy, you should be saying, hey, let's regroup and spawn. It's not even worth trying to take a fight right here. It's the cart's way too far pushed up to try and get a clean first fight, but also you don't have a diva. Right? If we're ult tracking perfectly, we know that they have Blizzard. They have a free Blizzard right now. Like, we shouldn't even be right here. We should just be, fuck it, we're going back and spawn. Like, to me, it's not even worth trying to hold space and maintain space up here, waiting for your diva to come back, because that's like, oh, well, we have a free Blizzard. We can just go in and push them. They don't have diva. I mean, that's what I'd be calling to my team right now if I was playing Mei, right? So if you should be anticipating the same kind of level of communication that you want to have or you do have, that the enemy team is also going to do that, right? So you need to be like make good plays based on, hey, this is what I would do in this scenario. Maybe we should do something else, you know?
Yeah. The other thing to keep in mind, we talked before, was it 2 weeks ago, about like right now the meta is just kind of the team who goes first tends to win, unless you're really, really good about counter engaging, which happens only very few times at the high level, and still you get tremendous value about initiating first. So both teams are going to either look for some sort of bomb or Blizzard play right now. Shatter can just straight up win the fight. That's okay. They're probably going to be looking for Blizzard play. So I'd go back into spawn, don't even give them a chance to initiate, and then you guys initiate first. That's, in my opinion, that would have been the best play that you guys could have done. You come out of spawn, you can come out of spawn with Deadeye, so they can't, hold the corner, and then you can speed boost into a Blizzard and just completely force them all the way back. And then at that point, they're either going to have to commit ults strangely, or you guys are just going to get picks.
Or you can do some real dumb shit and you can fucking window high noon, just like right here.
Yeah.
Like you can do dumb shit. Dumb shit's cool with me, as long as you're making a good decision based off of the dumb shit. So.
I'm fine with all combos right now. That's it.
I'm fine with any of them.
Yeah.
One is good enough for me.
Well, that's what I was saying, is like IGL stuff is going to be most over discussion. The combos, I just want you guys to be creative.
Speaking of doing dumb shit, we got to kill
inting.
doing dumb shit.
Yeah, they're inting.
And while
Gumby's is the first one out of spawn.
yeah, he was the first. He was the last one to die and the first one to be in the front again. You know. Granted, I mean, tanks use movement abilities to get up here, but
He's frozen.
oh, I remember this. Did you watch the VOD of this?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, okay, because this
I was
is
begging them not to.
this is real fucking dumb. This is real fucking dumb. What's about to happen?
이것도 너프해 보시지. 시스템 정상 작동 중.
I want to know what happened in here.
Listen, man, I would have killed all of them.
If it wasn't for these goddamn fucking meddling kids and their stupid dog. Like we almost won that fight too.
Their spawn is there.
But they have spawn advantage.
Yeah.
And guess who is going to get staggered?
Gumby's really just needed to find a clip.
No, if this was OD, he would still be alive. Which is again why I mean I like staggering in scrims, but I guess fucking plat teams don't. But like if this is happening in a tournament, you bet your ass that Mei is gonna Mei wall right there, make the diva go even further to try and jump off the map, and they're gonna just speed boost straight onto point, and they're gonna take a 5v6 real fucking quick. That is exactly what they're going to do, which is exactly why you do not fucking stagger yourself. Obviously, Baby Diva's a little bit harder, right? But any of you do not stagger yourself. Because in an actual game where it actually matters, you will have made a bad habit. You were trying to go for kills, you're trying to get a remech kill, you're trying to do something stupid, you know, maybe you're trying to, oh, I'm already in spawn, I'm going to spawn camp someone. Don't. You're just making a worse fight for the rest of your team. You know? Don't make it a habit.
I'm all for spawn camping. Don't die doing it. It's the same shit with like taking off angles and taking flanks. Don't die to get those picks to get the extra ult charge. There's no reason to. So everyone tried to bail out Gumby's in that situation because they wanted the kill on the Mei. But like, what does the kill on the Mei do? It gives us an extra 10 seconds. We still have a full. They're still going to have one more fight, right? Unless they're just trickling out for a full minute.
If this was like a 15 seconds left on the clock, okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
It's a minute.
You also give their Mei a shit ton of ult charge.
Yeah, sure it is.
She had,
again.
Yeah.
They
you guys
have
literally
all-
fed. Yeah, it's because you fed. You literally fed in their spawn.
And I want to say you guys as in the tanks fed, and then everyone else followed the tanks.
Well, one tank fed, and then the other tank was just like,
Fuck it.
I need to, yeah. Which I would
mean-
rather have. I would rather have that than like the, hey, you fed. I'm not going to be dealing with this, but it's just not good. It's just not good overall.
No, I agree.
이것도 너프해 보시지.
This is the quick play special.
What, the Sim
guys-
Diva Bomb?
No, you're getting hit with everything. It's
Oh, yeah, all at once?
What? Yeah.
3, 4 ults.
This is exactly why it's turning into a 5v6 or 5v5 instead of 6v6. This is this fight right here.
Alright, they used every single ult. Yeah. Hey, wow, weird surprise. The team has 6 ults versus the one who had, what, 2? Wow, they won that fight. It's weird how that works.
3.
We had 3 ults. Oh, yeah, we had these 3.
Yeah. I would say also, Bowser, we gotta keep track of Shatter. We have to keep track of Shatter there. You pinned in on a Shatter. Just keep in mind the pins and the fire strikes when the enemy team has Shatter. You don't have to play like super fucking scared. But as a Reinhardt player, I don't know. I don't know how much ping you have on this game, but you can react to Shatter. There's no need to. I mean, what they committed Sim, Shield, and Diva Bomb. They didn't throw Blizzard at that point, so.
Stupid.
A 거점을 수비하십시오.
Alright. We have 6 minutes left in the VOD, poggers. This would be the... Once we're done with this, we'll be done. So y'all
Yep.
know, so...
Good rotation. If you just stop for 1 second. As soon as we identified that, I mean, they do have one shot with Hanzo, but for the most part, as long as our team is rotated to certain points where they're safe. We talked before about like BAP window being really essential and being very good. I'm okay with our tanks taking a little bit of damage on the rotation just to feed support ults. Just wanted to point that out because you're going to need all the shield you can get. And when we have fucking Lamp and you have a full shield and we have Defense Matrix, I'm okay with just taking some poke damage from Sigma, from Orisa. Obviously stop the Dynamite from Ashe because it's like 60% ult charge. And stop like Storm Arrows and shit. But a window is very, very good against double shield as well.
Your
so.
HP resource is a donation to your supports.
Yeah.
And you're donating it to their DPS. One way to look at it.
In this case, the only one that matters is Ashe, which, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna comment on that. That's just like the same thing.
This is enough validation for me.
Yeah.
That's it. It's the only recognition that they're gonna get.
That's a great wall, though.
It really is. And we win the point because their Orisa died and they can't recontest because their Sigma's fucking 1v1ing our Diva for some reason.
A Diva carried that fight. I don't know what you're talking about.
Truly, my Diva play was the reason why we won that fight, not because of their incompetence.
I've never seen a Diva get demeched on one fight so often. Just jump off the edge, too. Dude.
Or go back to, better yet, go back to spawn and swap.
But I like... It was a good full rotation. It was good to see that their Orisa was separated. You got a good wall off, and everybody could have been a little bit better, but it was a good full rotation. I liked all of that.
Yeah, it was a good fight, good May wall. Except it was a 5v5 that that was basically Overwatch 2.
Yeah.
Both all tanks gone.
Yeah.
Yep, both off-tank players were in fucking Narnia.
I guess Gumby's is just playing 4D chess. He knows that everyone needs to prepare for Overwatch 2, so he's taking it upon himself to separate.
He's taking one for the team.
Good
yeah,
guy
exactly.
Gumbies.
Yeah.
And okay, also, so the rest of you, when Diva dies, push cart. All right, they're holding space, speed boost out. They're playing double shield. They're not gonna try and aggress on top of you, or better yet, since they're playing, a lot of fucking damage, just speed boost out because you don't have DM. Like there's like no reason to be feeding Orisa charge right now, or Sigma charge, or their Zen, or anyone else, because it doesn't benefit you because you're not gonna win this fight.
Yeah. If you are committed to pushing the payload, which your main tank is, the thing that I would say,
Also,
well, he kind of is. It's kind of in the middle. I don't know what's going on up there.
Oh, this Hanzo's literally thinking the entire game, by the way.
Yeah. I would, underneath the little wooden, whatever the fuck they are,
Platform?
Yeah, the wooden platforms, that's a great place to stand to deny enemy high grounds. Especially if you're looking for like full engagements. If your whole team stands under there, just hugs that wall, and then it's like you're pushing the payload and you're denying the high ground. Unless they have some off angle, they're really not going to be doing much. And then once you hit that corner, you can engage as a team. So it's just something to look for on icon walls, because I know the castle can be fucking annoying as shit to push.
It separates bad teams from good teams. There were a few maps in this game, all of 2CP, where the good teams will win most of the time, and the bad teams will never win. Or I shouldn't say bad teams. The teams who don't know what they're doing. It's probably the more apt way of saying that.
There's like very specific points where it's like, oh, this team knows how to defend this point, then you will never ever push it on them, even with 6 ults.
Yeah.
If you don't really know how to push against it.
That's a good Maywall, by the way, too. You could Maywall or Orisa, but that's better for your team to get in. So I think the Hanzo was still behind us. No, he died. Poggers.
Did you get hit by the Bob, or did he just shoot you?
No, the Bob didn't hit anyone. Shot.
Okay. I feel bad because Busy always seems to be like just in the wrong place, like just by like a couple of feet or like a second off on roll or flashbang.
Yeah.
I've just noticed that in a lot of our scrims.
Also, it's a really bad D.Va bomb. You should jump off the map. You know you're not gonna win 2v4. Oh, I can just speed through this. Not that speed works.
Okay, now that we've pushed it, we should just go through castle. That's a really slow rotation, and we have a Mei by herself.
I think Ira, you just didn't listen to the call. I think I don't recall. I didn't recall.
Okay, now we're very split on this engagement. And our Rhine dies for it.
Well, we won that fight, I guess. One way to look at it.
Yeah, because they didn't bunker down. The high ground pressure forced them to rotate back. And they just didn't get the picks.
Also, Foster, you were up there. You guys were up there for far too long. This is going to be a reoccurring theme for the next 3 minutes. That this Hanzo's going to be sitting here the entire fucking time. Like I said, right after this scrim, or after this map, excuse me, was you have two options. You either ignore the fuck out of him and just fight on point, which makes him, he's going to have to come to you eventually. You can either A, turn around, or just keep fucking killing the rest of the team, or the 6 of you go kill him. Those are your only two options. But when you start doing things like, oh, well, I'm going to try and take a 2v1 with a Hanzo. He's playing Hanzo. It's not Widowmaker where you can just, like, the Widow has to hit a god tier shot. Versus Hanzo, it's like, he's shooting logs at your face. Like, he's going to win that most of the time. Or he's at least going to trade himself out. Which benefits, again, them more than it benefits you. So
yeah, luckily this also forces out good communication and micro positioning. Like, that backside of the point, is, like, the left side of the point is going to ignore most of that Hanzo's damage until he forces himself onto the bridge in the high ground. And then, you know, you can have Gumby's deal with them. You can have, like, Frothy go fuck him up or whatever the case is.
Or
I
you can
agree with
6-man
Steph.
into them.
Yeah. Because look how fucking far away he is.
Yeah, like, he's literally doing nothing. So, basically, this is a concept of, like, patience or, not patience, but it's like, he's not doing anything. Oh, he's not doing anything. In my head, I'm like, oh, their Hanzo's not with him. Let's just fucking into them. They are down one. That's what it is to me. Like, it's like he's dead. He's in spawn in my mind. Because I don't care that there's a Hanzo behind me, or a Widow, or whoever. Tracer, Genji, dive character's different, but he's playing Hanzo, okay? Just end. All of you. You know, like,
he's not doing anything unless you let him. Unless you...
letting him distract you.
Like, you know where his positioning is right now. He's shot in a couple shots. You know he's behind you. If you play into his LOS, if you try to take a couple shots into him, like, you are allowing him to get value. But if you ignore him and just push into the team, or if you just go fucking kill him as a team, then you've denied him completely. So, yeah.
Yeah.
It's just, you can keep going.
We let this Hanzo tilt us. And I don't quite know why.
It was confusing. It's like, do we have to deal with him? It's a Hanzo, he can one-shot people.
Well, okay, so all things considered, they used ults. We got card up. In my head, also, since we lost this fight, this is a net positive for us. Could we have won this fight? Yeah, probably. Did we? No. But hey, the card's right here. Now, what that signals to me, or an IGO, so Foster, this is something that you should keep in mind. Also, literally any else of you. Hey, the card is right next to the capture point. Why don't we just rush through castle? They're playing bunker. They have to come to us eventually. Or the one person's going to come on cart. Maybe it's Bob or something, but they already used Bob. We can just immediately kill. It benefits us to be on cart versus it does not benefit them for us to be on cart. Like, they don't want to be on cart. It doesn't benefit them, right? It's an easy way for us to get immediately to the point and take the fight where we want to take the fight. Versus they have to come to us and we're brawl. Okay, speed boost. Okay, they're dead. Go back to point. You know, we can be decisive and make good decisions based off of, hey, this is where the card is. Let's do this because of that. Now, I mean, I think you should always go through castle. You should never be fighting here against bunker, but whatever. I mean, like, we should always be going through castle, taking off this high ground, making them go, chasing them, you know, doing that kind of thing.
These Wednesdays.
Never loses them. Gumby, you should know by now. Do not do that. Just jump off the map, homie.
That's one way to learn how to be less aggressive as D.Va. If you have to kill yourself off the map like 6 times in a single scrim.
And you're not
Makes it
dying
more-
with the team.
It makes it more visceral, yeah.
Well, yeah, because now your teammates are like, hey, dude, can you jump off the map already? We need you. Or they start
Yeah.
pushing in 5v6, and then you're telling, hey, I'm not with you. And it's your fault, dude. What the fuck, you know?
But yeah, I agree. I think the call out to pressure point is really good. I mean, you obviously have to be aware of Orisa pulls on the bridge, but they don't have a Lucio, so you guys can really be wherever you want to be compared to them. So I don't
Yeah.
know. I would go to cart. I agree.
I agree too. Except the call here is like, hey, can we do something with the high ground? I think maybe fuck with the I don't recall. Again, who fucking cares?
Yeah, I actually think if you just speed onto Orisa, she dies in 2 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you just went through castle and
Look
went
how-
on the Orisa.
Look at our comp. Look at our comp. We're playing Brawl. We're all here except Iris right there. That's fine. I'm ignoring that. They're playing Bunker. Where the fuck are they? Orisa, Baptiste. This is their Zen. This is their Ashe. This is their Hanzo, and this is their Sigma. They are literally all over the fucking map. Who benefits from that? Us. What do? Well, we split up. We try and, you know, go on this Sig. Who, okay, they should die. I hope they die. But for some reason, we are still back here. Like, they don't have speed boost. We have speed boost.
No, the crazy part is you guys shepherded them into doing an effective bunker. They were
You
way
literally,
too spread out.
you were the
Yeah.
dogs. You fucking herded sheep exactly back into the pen, and that benefits them way more than it benefits you guys. Like, don't be the fucking sheepdog. You want to be the wolf who's trying to get the one fucking, you know, 6 sheep off on their own. That's a really fucking sick metaphor, but you know, that's the point. You know, you're trying to punish people for being off on their own, or punishing. I mean, you can punish them off on their own by killing them, or killing the rest of the team. Like you made them make a good rotation. Did we lose this? I thought we lost this map.
Lose a map.
I'm pretty sure we lose here. Pretty sure we
I
lose
goes down first.
Okay, I need to go back and I'm gonna see how we started fucking dying.
Mine discorded. Chunked like 600 health.
So the Hanzo got a headshot on Oleg. Gumby is taking a 1v3 in the back line. We beat to save Tachyon and Busy. I understand why you beat it. This seems like a very winnable fight. You should beat here. Alright, Gumby's back. Didn't get beat though. We cancel Flux. Well, not cancel, but
Deny it.
yeah, we didn't. Yeah, it doesn't get any value. But since our one support is dead, we have no heals on point other than Frothing. Let's be honest, it's not a lot of healing. They're playing Bunker. That literally doesn't matter to us. We basically don't have the support. Yeah. Yeah. So basically, if I'm gonna micro someone right now, Gumby, you have to realize that they're playing poke. And you can't be taking 1v1s. Like, ever. Ever. I don't care if they're 1 HP. Right? You are the DM. You are trying to make sure Owen stays alive, so that the Hanzo from behind isn't killing him. You're trying to make sure that Tachyon can get into a position to use his Blizzard, since they only have Grasp to eat it. Right? You are escorting people to where they need to be in order to do something. But if you're taking 1v1s, Owen dies. He died because you were not there trying to kill the Hanzo or trying to DM the Hanzo, period. Because you try to kill Baptiste. Like, he is not important to poke, right? They're playing a lot of high threat, a lot of high damage characters, where if you kill Baptiste and you're dead, and our Baptiste trades, like he's also dead, they're going to win. They have more HP than we do. Like, they maintain space better than we do. If they're split up, then we're just fucking around on cart trying to take a 1v1 or something. You know, just be with your team. Like, you need to have different play styles with what the enemy team is running. You know, it's just like if you're fucking playing dive. Like, if you're playing 6-man dive into like poke, I mean, yeah, you can just hard int. But if you're playing 6-man dive into another 6-man dive, you don't hard int. Where are you gonna go? Like, you just kind of just like brawl. It becomes brawl again. Like, it's just different kind of play styles based on what the enemy team is running. And it's recognizing that and doing something because of it. Again, that's not a Gumby thing. All of you can do that, right? Like, they don't, like, Tachyon can be like, oh, they don't have a D.Va. I'm just going to fucking hold W and I'm going to hit Q. All right, cool. Would he do that against a D.Va? No. But he can. He can play differently because they don't have a D.Va. Like, you can play differently based on what they're playing. And you should. But we don't. So we lose. Moral of the story. And Hanzo's doing his thing again. Foster, you saw the Hanzo.
That would have been a lot easier to kill the Hanzo if you went in together. Yeah, that was just a communication timing thing, 100%. We wanted to kill the Hanzo. No, we wanted to kill the Hanzo. Our Rhine sees him, and then our Mei goes up, and then she isn't able to finish the freeze because she isn't being DM'd. And then as soon as she has to disengage, our D.Va goes up, and then she's not able to do it because at that point they shielded him and they threw Harmony on it. So it's
There's
just
also
another
a lot
like
of fucking damage right here.
Yeah.
There are 3
But if
characters spamming you, you know?
I think if Maywall goes up and D.Va dives him at the same second, Hanzo dies there in 2 seconds, and you turn around DM and you actually survive that.
Yeah. And again, this is a position, Gumby, where if you're like a quarter HP into a Hanzo, you're not gonna get out. You might as well just try and fucking kill him. It's not even worth you should just try and just keep shooting at him. Like that is literally your only option is, well, I'm probably gonna get DMAC'd from the 3 people shooting me from high ground. I might as well try and trade out at least to do something for my team, you know? But we let him live. And that's like not acceptable at this point, you know? Or better yet, ignore him. Like I said.
Unacceptable.
Yeah, this is not acceptable.
The ruler.
Yeah. Don't make me get the fish out because you're left-handed, dude.
Don't make me get out the disappointed Tengu.
I will get that emote out. Also, I think we should just all be down here because, yeah, we should just be all down here because they can't shoot us from right here. We wait for D.Va to get back. Also, Gumby, remember your HP is a resource.
Okay, we force point.
I didn't even recognize Gumby doing this in the back. Dude, Gumby, you are not helping your team. Like, it took us 50 seconds to take one fight. 50 seconds. So, Foster, since you're going to be watching the VOD, since you'll be a VOD frog for this part, if one of your teammates is dying something to repeatedly, and everyone 5 of you are just grouped up right here, just say fuck it. Hey, let's speed back to spawn. Let's escort this person. They need help getting across. It's not even worth staying over here because now you're letting potential damage cross, and it's just not helpful for your team. It's just like, okay, let's just soft reset back at choke or wherever the fuck you want to soft reset at. Since you're not hard resetting, you know, no one needs to jump off the map or anything. But yeah. I mean, anything else you want to say, dog? Because this is literally the end of the map. I mean,
no. I mean, despite all of like the micro stuff, it's pretty clear what we need to focus on this week. It's just Foster is going to work on his IGL calls. We're going to have discussions more at the end of this week on like not just me and Zaf telling you exactly what's right or wrong, but you guys trying to discuss how the callouts could be better or what you guys were looking for. Obviously, Gumby's. We're gonna do a lot of D.Va, just a lot of D.Va stuff. Like you can't be playing. If we're gonna be working on callouts, don't focus on trying to be the hero or trying to play as you were in the past. Just for now, just to help out the team, be a D.Va bot. DM on rotations, look for combos, ask to be helped, be 10 times more team player just in this next week for us, please. And we can start integrating your actual playstyle once we've established that we can have like good communication and follow up with each other. In terms of the DPS, obviously don't talk over Foster for the IGL calls. And then you guys can focus on practicing that a little bit just so you can have some empathy for Foster because it's extremely hard and it's very demanding to be that kind of IGL. If
And he's young.
you want, yeah. And the other thing is like your combos. So right, we have ult tracking for Frothy. Ira's gonna do IGL stuff and then combos. So you guys are gonna do the big combos. If you hear a win condition of Shatter or Blizzard or Windows a win condition, or we're looking for an aggressive primal on the sports, whatever it is, I want you guys to focus on like good, clear combo communication for how you guys are going to help him in those fights. You don't have to be over communicative, but I just want to see those combos. And then, yeah, I don't think I have anything specific for Owen. It's just the same thing as the DPS.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, I think Owen, something that might be helpful for you, I guess Owen specifically, but everyone else, is if something is you're dying to a lot, let's say it was the Hanzo, say specifically, hey Foster, can we try and kill the Hanzo next fight? Because since he's the one doing the call, like you should be communicating to him, right? Because you were saying when we were taking the fight on bridge, that hey, if we let the Hanzo be in the backline, I'm a squishy, he's gonna one shot me. Like you made that call, right? And then you said hey Foster, let's try and kill the Hanzo next fight. And then he should, okay, yeah, let's do that. You know, like be direct with what you're trying to say. Just something like, guys, I need help. I don't know what I need help with. I don't know how you help me, but I need help. Like that doesn't help anyone. You know, like you don't need, like you need to tell your teammates, hey, this person is causing me a lot of trouble. I need help. Hey, can I get DM? Hey, can we try and kill this person? Hey, can we go on a different rotation to try and can we just ignore the problem? Like, you can be very specific about how you want help. Because, again, if you're not asking for hey, I need this kind of help, you're not going to get any help at all. And that's what ended up happening. Was we had, like, 2 people at different times try and kill a Hanzo while everyone else is rotating. And it just wasn't helpful to anyone. Because now we're losing team fights because it's a 5v5. And they're playing... they're playing poke, we're playing brawl, and if we're taking the fight on point, all 6 of us need to be there. We need DM. Gumby wasn't there with us, trying to take a deal with a Hanzo. You know, it's just be specific about where you need help from. You know, like if I was in your shoes, being a flex support player, I would be specifically saying, hey, can I get DM? I want to do this. Hey, can you shield me? I'm trying to go for, I'm doing specific callouts because I need to do something. Either I'm trying to get picks on Zen, or I need to go for some 6 sleep dart or a nade or whatever, I'm calling these things because I need to do my job more efficiently with help from my teammates. It's, again, being a team player and not just doing things on your own all the time, and it's a team game. It's not fucking Valorant where you can just like take 1v1s the entire time and win the entire game, It's not how this works. This is the most team dependent game out there currently, and we should be playing it as such. So
Until they change it entirely.
Yeah, until it becomes a 5v5, TDM. Which is poggers.
Okay, I have nothing else to say.
Yep, I got nothing else. And you guys have any questions before I end stream? Tech busy, Frothy?
That was a lot of us talking, so.
Alright, hold on. Ira's talking?
I said no, I'm fine.
Oh, okay. I saw you. I saw you typing. Alright.
Sorry.
Goodbye, stream.
Well, actually, you know what?
Go on.
Even if it's... Did you already end?
No, go on.
Oh, well, I don't even say this on stream, but... if it's
just ask the
even my
question.
place- Okay. Well, it's not even a question. It's just, it kind of feels like Gumby's is trying to ego the enemy team because he thinks he's better than them. And to his credit, yeah, he's a 4.396 peak tank, which is like you're really good at the game. But instead of trying to prove that by running into the backline alone as D.Va, play with the team and ego them by shit stomping them as a team.
Well, the other thing I could say to that is, what's the most ego thing you can do as D.Va? I didn't see how many blizzards did he eat that round.
Dragons?
How many dragons did he eat that round, right?
None.
Completely denying an enemy team's player and being able to, do it. Okay, it's not just I'm going to kill the Hanzo every single fight. It's this person is going to carry. I can tell that, and I'm going to 1v1 and deny them. That's completely different than what he was doing and just isolating or trying to isolate targets. So, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of it is that he isn't an off-tank player. He's a main tank player. and also he peaked on Orisa. So there's that.
Dude, you gotta chill with the insult.
No. Look, he can handle it. Like, I mean, I hope he can handle it. This is just a recurring joke. He goes to ITE, and I'm the head coach on ITE, A-Dog.
Yeah.
So, I'm allowed to do it. Maybe not anyone else in here, but I can.
Hey, listen, I peaked on Brig. I don't know what that means about me.
Yeah, but Brig's a good character.
Back in Goats, I peaked on Brig.
Oh, that means you have no soul.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, I'm gonna end the stream now. Goodbye, Vodka.
Yeah.